Oh, hello, everybody. Hi, Ollie. Oh, welcome back. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks. Still suffering from the jet lag a little bit. I've been waking up at 3 a.m., which is good because I'm on China time, which means, I could do all the sourcing and all the supply communications at the same time as they are. So it's good on that side, but I definitely get a little bit tired towards the early afternoon. But other than that,
Oh,
I'm glad to be back.
oh, well, we are all so happy to have you and Mickey back. I know she will be joining us momentarily. And yes, Ricardo, yes, they're back. That was literally exactly me talking to Ollie before we went live. Like, just not only happy that they're both back. Yes, his mind will, I feel like, forever be on China now. It's like part of him. But we're so excited to hear about your time, and it's really been quite a whirlwind. So there's actually a lot of conversations and stories that I'm going to be hearing for the first time as well too. So I'm just as equally excited as everybody. So welcome everybody to the All Meet Us call. Super excited about today's special theme. So for those that are joining us live or watching on the replay, the All Meet Us call is really a really great way for you to connect with us. You have a chance to get to know who we are, not just professionally, but personally, because so many of the interactions that we have with our partners are all about, business, right? And this is a way for you not only to get to know private label people, but the people behind the business. So super excited to be able to chat with Ali today and Mickey to be joining us. And of course, his mind is still in China. So while that is nice and fresh, we want to make sure that we're taking a moment to not only celebrate this absolutely incredible achievement that Ali and Mickey had in their journeys, but also to hear about, maybe get a sneak peek on how this is going to help benefit our partners as well too by building these relationships. So what do you say, Ali? Do you think we should just jump right in and start to have a great
Yeah,
conversation about your trip?
yeah, let's go for it.
Awesome. Perfect. I love it. Just go for it. So that's great. So um, I think, really what I want to start with is, this has kind of been on our mind. When I say ours, it's the private label people's team for, a little bit. And it happened slowly, then very suddenly. But I'm sure the prospect of you going to China has kind of been in the back of your mind for a little bit, right? Can you tell me a little bit about what your experience was like thinking about one day I'll be in China to then all of a sudden being like, I need to book a flight tonight because that's pretty much how it happened, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we think about it, I've been working with some of our suppliers and partners now in China for over 5 years. We've done like plenty of orders and reorders through them. We speak on a daily basis, and it's great that we're able to utilize technology in that way, and technically don't need to physically be somewhere in order to negotiate an order or to build an order. I always thought that it would be cool to go over there and actually meet people face to face and have conversations, brainstorm ideas, and pair that with mine and Mickey's love for travel. Like it just had to happen at some point, and eventually it did. And yeah, exactly what you said. It's just it happened all so quickly. We did want to go around this time of the year. The whole visa situation. So I'm sure Mickey can have told you has told you as well, Emily. Like a couple of weeks ago, I know we were a little bit last minute on the visa, and we went to the Belfast office, and it turned out that their visa office people only come in once or twice a month
Oh
from
my
Edinburgh, so they don't have a crazy demand for visas in Northern Ireland. So they share that between Scotland and Northern Ireland, and we had just missed them the day after, and the only time we can catch them was going to be in 2 weeks' time, which would have been over the time that we were supposed to fly out. So yeah, we were sitting in the car a little bit deflated, thinking, oh, we had our agendas built and our plan. It was all going smoothly. and now this is a bit of a spanner in the works. So I had to like think, no, there's always a way. There's always a way to get something resolved. I quickly looked at flights to Edinburgh because I knew that they would have been there, and I also looked at flights to London. And I've got family in London, so it just made sense. And yeah, we got to London, I think 3 days after that situation, went to their office, and then finally got the visa. So it was all a bit of a whirlwind, but now it's kind of all over. It's weird.
Wow. So based off of when you got your visa, how like you didn't have your flights booked. And I
No.
just remember I think it was it a Sunday you were in London? Like I saw a very long like Mickey sent me a picture of a very long line of everybody waiting.
Yeah.
So you literally like got approved for your visas, and we don't have to go into the big details, but it was a lot of work and a lot of details that you needed to provide for your trip as well too. So then how quickly from when you had to book your flight to China that you had to board your plane? Like what was that?
Yeah, so it was a week before that we got the confirmation that our passports and visa was ready for collection. Well, it wasn't clear actually. So if anyone ever needs a Chinese visa, hit me up because I'll tell you what to expect from their platform and what it actually means. So it said that our passports were ready for collection, but that didn't say whether or not the visa was successful or not. So obviously we couldn't book flights until we knew for sure. So it was the Sunday. Yeah, we flew into London on the Sunday, and then on the Monday went to collect the passports. Realized that everything was fine. It had been approved, and then got home or got to some family's house later on that day, and then booked our flights for the next morning. So from getting the visa sorted to booking the flight the next morning, that's kind of how it unfolded. Next thing we knew, we were on a plane for like 12 hours.
I think that's probably a good way to do it though. There's no like, do I do it? It's just like, no, you go, and things move quickly here. So first of all, love that you are able to say share some insider information about getting visas to China. We're all about that value here at Private Label People. So I think that this is incredible. So going so fast forward 12-hour flight, you're in China. And I'm sure in your mind you've been kind of like, romanticizing what it would be like to be there one day because of these amazing relationships that you've built, and having the great, back and forth conversations with our suppliers. Was there anything surprising or unexpected that you encountered when you first got there, or even during your stay that was there?
It was strange. I think the weird thing is the fact that it wasn't weird meeting, partners that we've been working with for so many years. I think it's because, we built up that relationship and we kind of get to know each other personally as well. So, between orders, we're in contact, we're speaking, we know a lot about each other over the years as well. So it was like, yeah, it was like, don't know what meeting a pen pal would be like. I've never had one, but I'm assuming it will be the same. Where you kind of already know each other. You can crack jokes from day one because there's none of that kind of awkward icebreakers or anything like that. So yeah, I think that was probably the surprising bit. I thought it would have been just a little bit more. I don't know, a little bit more kind of formal. I think just having business relationships, and you all know me. I'm nowhere near a formal businessman by any means. I wore a suit at my wedding, and I don't think I've worn one since. So I thought, there might be a little bit of kind of like etiquette and things to think about. I did a little bit of research as well in terms of like etiquette and things like that, but nothing crazy that I was shocked by or unprepared for. I think it went really smoothly. It was really comfortable. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Well, that's wonderful. And I think, what we're excited to hear about is obviously like the personal like part of it that you enjoyed, but you weren't going to China on holiday, were you?
No, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it was crazy. I
Yes.
like yeah, I mean, just even like between sessions and stuff, we'd go out for lunch and dinner, and everything will be written in Chinese, and I'll be there with my phone just like Google Translate. or not Google Translate officially.
Yeah, yeah, no
VPNs.
Google.
But like kind of being guided by somebody that's a local, I think was really
Mhm.
cool because they were able to like kind of take us to local restaurants and local places that, you know, a little bit off the beaten path.
Well, it's great that you were able to kind of, obviously be prepared for the culture. I know that's always something that's so important anytime that you're visiting any part of the world. And I think that's what's great is our group brings so many people stretched so far. I mean, we have, you know, um, people on right now all over the world, right? We have some Northern America, we have some in the UK, we have some in Australia, which is great. So understanding, the little parts of etiquette, traditions are always something that I love learning. I think, even last night, Esso and I had a stream later on in the evening. It was 9 p.m. our time. And after we got off the call, we just, we started looking on Google Maps and we were starting to like discover these parts of the worlds that we didn't even realize existed. And you got to like zoom in and see those tiny little towns, which was cool. And for you, I'm sure it was really cool too to see many parts of China because if I'm correct, you landed in China on a certain point and you had to travel south. Am I correct? To get to
Kind of like,
where you needed to
yeah,
go.
south. So we flew into Shanghai and we
Mhm.
spent, I think 2 days there just to kind of get used to the time zones. And it's really weird. It was like, it's a lot easier to adjust when you're flying east versus, no, flying east. And then on the way back, it's completely different. But yeah, within a couple of days, just hung out in Shanghai, which was really cool to explore there. And then we got picked up by one of our partners and drove for 4 hours to the city, which is southeast of Shanghai, where All One is. So it was really cool because when you're looking at the map and you're like, the city is called Yiwu, and it looks like it's very close to Shanghai, but it's a 4 hour drive. So it just reminds us of how vast the landscape is over there. So yeah, traveling from Shanghai to Yiwu, spent a couple of days there at the warehouse. It was great to meet all the warehouse staff as well and actually see it and see everyone's boxes and cartons all taken care of nicely and just working through the processes and all of that. It was really cool. And then from there, we did move on to kind of slowly making our way back to Shanghai in order to fly back. We did stop off I can't remember the name of this now. The jet lag is definitely creeping up, but it's like a small lake kind of city um, where we just had landscapes that were just never seen before. It was insane. Yeah. But Mickey's here, and I'm sure she'll be able to fill us in with some more of that.
Yes. Oh, well, welcome. Well, firstly, thank you so much, Ali, and welcome, Mickey. So excited to see you here. I was just, kind of over the moon, excited to be able to chat with both of you about, your experience at the All One facility. I know some of these stories I'm just hearing for the first time, so you're gonna definitely see my excitement. So firstly, so thank you so much for taking the time to hop on the stream with me. I know it's been kind of like a whirlwind for you guys, right? Just, spending the time over there in China at the All One facility and now making your way back. You guys got back Sunday, evening to the UK and then back to work Monday morning. You guys are champions. You're incredible. So just have to share that. Um,
We are
but
still struggling. We are
I
definitely
know.
still struggling.
I know, and I just want to thank all of our partners as well too. Thank you so much for the patience, for the correspondence back between Ollie and Mickey. Obviously, you can imagine the amount of workload that has, and communications that have piled up. So if you're watching now on the replay or you're live, thank you for your patience in their correspondence. But now back to, I think, the buildup of the story, and Ali has been doing a really great job sharing like what it was like kind of the visa process, getting ready to go to China. It happened very slowly, and then all of a sudden, suddenly, within 24 to 48 hours, you get your visas and you're ready to go. You're booking flights, and before you know it, I don't. That's definitely dedication, and I appreciate, and so do our partners so much what you're doing. So I think what's great is, we're getting to the part of the story that we're talking about the real intention behind you, going to China was, to continue to build those relationships with private label people and the team that we have at All One and in China. And I would love to be able to hear, based off of the time that you spent, how do you envision our relationship changing with private label people and our partners with the team in China evolving after this relationship? So, what are some of the amazing things that came out of this visit?
Well, for me, I know that it was something that I really wanted to be able to show our team in China and the idea behind what we are trying to do, because I felt like we were a bit, maybe sometimes I think the translation and the language barrier was getting on the way, and I felt like myself and our agents out there are not on the same page. So being able to sit down with them and showing them, and for them to really understand what what each piece of the puzzle is doing, it was great. Now that if I go into Monday right now and I look at the replenishment process, because he understands by putting certain information in there, it helps us, it helps everybody get the information that they need, but also for him to understand that that information gets sent out directly to our partners, was something that I really wanted him to see live, because it's difficult to explain to somebody that has never seen something like this, or they have never worked on a software that is allowed to do this. And I feel like the fact that I was able to show him and he saw that we are not doing anything, that's one thing that was so important for them, is that to see that we're not doing anything illegal, in a sense that he wouldn't get in trouble. So being able to explain to them that this is nothing illegal, this is just an email that will be sent out to me first and then to our partners, and there is no any of your information sent out, and or any of your private information, like private details that you do not want to share with anybody else, will not be sent out. I think put them at ease. As you know, China is very protective when it comes to their people, and I felt that whenever we were trying to communicate via email with them, that was the reason that was always declined, because they weren't able to use it. But for them to be able to use Monday, I think at first they were very cautious, because they didn't want to get in trouble, and you wouldn't want to get in trouble. But them seeing it and what it's doing is actually just a communication tool, and they were okay with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Ali was kind of alluding to, like, there's a lot that we can do in this day and age with technology. It's absolutely incredible how technology continues to advance as well too. But there's something special about getting together in person to be able to share the intention behind something. And there's just some things that are better to do in person than it is to just have that quick communication back and forth, because not only are you working to be able to share this incredible new thing that really hasn't been done yet in the private label landscape, so you have that incredible aspect happening, and then you have the aspect of a language barrier as well too. So put them two together. It's important to us as private label people, as the team, not just for our own, structure, and I'm sure, Nikki, you can definitely agree with this, not just to make sure that the structure is nailed down in the process, but just to make sure that they understand what our intentions are for our partners
Yep.
as well. Are you able to share how you feel like this visit will impact the processes moving forward for our partners? Is there anything that you're excited about? Is there anything that's going to continue to happen? Maybe some changes?
Yeah, so if you have had a replenishment created already from the All One facility, you would have had an email from me this morning with the estimated time of arrival and also the tracking numbers. That wouldn't have been possible without me going out, purely because he didn't understand why would I need the information, and being able to show him that Amazon is actually asking for the tracking numbers, and in our case is not a tracking number, a normal UPS tracking number. If you have ever done a replenishment in the past, you would have received 1ZA and some numbers that you would be able to track inside the US. Well, these replenishments are a bit different because they are not done within the country that you are actually sending the replenishment to. So they are not US to US replenishments, they are China to US. So it's going to be a boat tracking number. So it's a boat, a vessel number plus the container numbers. If you are Googling the numbers that I've sent you, you will actually be able to see the boat in the sea and where that is heading to and what stop has been made before it gets to where it needs to go. You will see some of the boats, like Ali was actually surprised. One of them was going from China to South Korea and then was going to the UK, I think it was. And Ali's like, wait, so our shipment went to South Korea and then is going to the UK. But because it's collecting containers along the way, this is actually quite cool to see. But before, whenever I asked him for this sort of information, they would take very long time to provide me with the information, or they wouldn't just give it to me because they didn't understand why I need it. But now, because we sat down and I showed him the Seller Central side of things, where Amazon is actually requesting that information, he was able to provide it for me, and he's actually able to add the information himself in Monday, which will make the process a lot smoother. Rather than sending it to me, he would add it there, and then straight away somebody would have received an email with the information that they need.
Wow, that's, as Patricia said, that's awesome. Looks like Mike saw the boat, which is really cool, passing by. And I think, what is great to hear is you're able to explain the why behind everything. You're able to explain why is this important that, you're requesting this information the way that you do, and how time sensitive it is, because at the end of the day, the reason why we're doing everything is for our partners and to ensure that it is, absolutely seamless, that we are working towards, being faster, being quicker, being more efficient and everything. So, this trip is just groundbreaking. And I really, again, too, on behalf of, the partners and even on behalf of the team, thank you for, taking the time out of your lives to make this incredible journey to the All One, facility, and to meet with our partners in China. I think what's great is we're not just like talking the talk, we're walking the walk. So you're really going out there and traveling across the world to make sure that everything's happening, for our partners. Celestine's boat too. Like, this is great. This is so cool. I didn't know that you could see the boat. So now I'm going to go on Monday and look at all your boats and all your shipments, guys. So that's exciting. So I would have to say, Ali talked about it a little bit initially, and it was about, being flexible in that change management and overcoming obstacles. We do that all the time. And it's super important to have that mindset. And this is important, not just with any entrepreneur, but a business owner. And it sounds like this whole, the visa situation was crazy. I don't know if SO and I would be able to do it. Literally, you're in, London, and then all of a sudden you're off on a, plane to China in 12, hours. Were there any other situations that you can share, like how you were able to apply overcoming obstacles in your trip? Either Mickey or Ali, anything that kind of came up that you weren't really expecting, and how were you able to kind of overcome that?
Yeah, I think the most shocking part for me was the fact that whenever you go to a restaurant or a supermarket or anywhere in China, there isn't any English written or any like our normal letters. They were all Chinese. And when you try to order something on a menu, I felt at first you have to pray and hope for the best. But then we were able to buy a SIM card, and we were able to translate the menu. So we were not hoping for the best. We were actually choosing stuff that we wanted to eat and try. But until you get out there and you experience this on your own, you wouldn't know. Like, we've done a fair bit of travel around Asia, and like we said to Noel and Paul this morning, China is not for the faint-hearted. If you have never been to Asia, you need to start small and then go into China. We are quite lucky because we have traveled Thailand, and we have traveled Malaysia and Indonesia, so we were expecting a bit. I don't know. There were certain things about this trip that I absolutely loved. I don't know if it was something that I hated. It was just the culture shock at first. It was. I think I handled it well, but I will let Ali answer this. I think if you know me, I can't stand noise. Like when people are eating, I can hear their noise, like their mouth making noise. I can't stand it. But I know that it was their culture, so I couldn't be rude, and I just sat there and I tried to enjoy my noodles. But I let Ali tell you all about it.
Yeah, Mickey has a bit of a phobia around that, but we did a bit of research, and I know that it's similar to Japan, and Japan's massive on our list as well. We definitely want to go to Japan. Our daughter loves the idea as well, and we promised that we'd take her there. So when you go to like a noodle soup place or a ramen shop or something, like it's considered a real positive if you slurp your soup, because the chef knows that you're enjoying your food, right? So obviously everybody's slurping away nearby, and I'm looking at Mickey and I'm thinking, oh, is she going to be all right here? But thankfully, I don't have that. I don't have that condition. I can happily enjoy my soup with people slurping nearby. So it's really funny now. At any live event now, everybody's going to know that they can't slurp around Mickey.
Well, Mickey, I support you in that. So I'm sure would tell that.
I'm so used to it now. Like, go ahead, guys, and do it. If it's your culture and you want to do it, do it. But I will. You see this face smiling, but inside me, I'm planning a murder.
I was thinking about bringing some ear defenders for Mickey, so whenever we go to noodle places, because I'm not going to not have noodles when I'm in Asia. Mm-hmm. I'm a foodie and I love my noodles, so I was thinking about bringing some ear defenders for Mickey so that she can eat in peace.
Well, I'm right there with you, Mickey, but I'm right there with you too, Ali. Big foodies, and I'm sure that there was a lot of. It's funny, that was actually one of the questions that I wanted to ask, knowing what big foodies you guys are. What were some of your favorite meals that you had over there? Because I know everything was so incredibly different. And have you started to try to recreate anything yet?
So many to choose from. Like, if I was to whittle it down. In fact, let me think about it. You go first, Mickey, and I'll think about my number one.
My number one was actually something very similar to a hot pot, but it wasn't a hot pot, if it makes sense. So I will share a photo with everyone. I don't have my phone nearby. but basically it was like a stew, and you have all these little mushrooms and veggies and meat, and also dumplings and breads that you would add to the pot, but not all at once. You would add them in stages depending on the cooking time. That was my favorite thing. And my second one was I can't remember what it was called, Ali. Like, it had a name. It was this
Sichuan.
Yeah, but it had a name. I honestly can't remember the name, but it was like fried chicken with a ton of chilies, but they are not the type of chilies that you can't breathe when you eat them. They just give a really, really nice flavor to the chicken. That was my second one. My last favorite one, I'll tell you after Ali tells you his one.
Okay, so it's strange that this might not have been the one that tasted the best, but I think it went down the best because it was our first date. We've, been awake for however many hours traveling and just kind of moving around and finally getting to our first location. And we were both exhausted, but at the same time, adrenaline is so high that you can't just sit in and order food. You have to go outside and just kind of venture out. And also, I know that was one thing I wanted to mention earlier whenever we were talking about obstacles, is that they don't, you can't just use your credit card or cash in most places. They have something called WeChat Pay and Alipay. So WeChat is obviously a communication channel similar to WhatsApp, and Alipay is from the company Alibaba, that I'm sure that a lot of people would know about. So you'd upload your card, your bank cards into the apps, and then you'd either be scanned or you would scan their terminal, and that's how transactions happen. But obviously you need phone battery and you need internet access, otherwise you can't make payments. So that was one thing that I was a little bit wary about, because traveling and foreign currencies and banks potentially blocking your card for potential fraud activities. That was one thing I was worried about. But finally making it to that first restaurant, where it was a tiny, tiny restaurant that had 2 tables and little plastic seats. And generally, whenever we're in Asia and we see the more run down the place looks, the better the food's going to be. So, and that definitely worked for that meal, because it was like a noodle soup with like beef and chilies in there. But it was just, having that nurturing bowl of noodles when you're just so exhausted, that for me, I probably will never forget. So that's my number 1 dish.
Wow, that does sound amazing. I do love some good noodles. Circling back to the time that you spent at the Alwan facility and with our agents, how do you feel like this visit, obviously you're sharing, kind of changed, what our future could potentially look like with private label people? How do you think it changed our agents' mindset about the group that we have, our partners, our community? Do you think that they kind of understood a little bit more what we're trying to do with our partners, and how this will impact even new product selections with them?
Yeah, I think just reinforcing the economies of scale. The team over there knew that we are facilitating a number of orders. We have been over the years. Even before private label people, we were constantly shipping and sourcing new products for our own business. But kind of just translating kind of our vision as a wider group to the guys in China, I think just allowed them to understand exactly what we're doing. And also, similar to what you said, it's like, there's certain reasons why we have certain processes in place. There's certain importance on how we do things, whether it's down to Amazon's TOS or whether it's down to efficiency, cost effectiveness on our side. I think it's just having those conversations with the guys, and it was really the nuances in between the bigger subjects where we made really cool innovations. So I think, yeah, really just having that, the bigger picture in their eyes, fully understood, just makes everything so much easier. Since coming back, the conversations on our day-to-day sourcing activities, like, it's been easier than ever because we know that they know that certain things are important, that certain things need to be done on time as well. So, I think my takeaway is just that full understanding. It's just going to give us leverage to really push forward and bring some more efficiencies in.
That's great. Mickey, do you feel the same way, or do you feel like there's also something, something else that you would like to add that you feel like that they understand now about our community and our partners that maybe they didn't understand beforehand?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when All One started, it was like, if you have listened to SO and I on our last stream, All One started before it was just an idea, and it was born from the desire of saving thousands across all of our businesses. If you think about it, just the inland shipping fee that you would pay from, like, currently in the UK, if we take our warehouse here, from our warehouse into Amazon, we're paying between £3-4 to £10, depending on the size of the box, and that's just to send the box from the warehouse into Amazon. So for them to be able to understand that we're not only trying to save money for us, we're also trying to save money for other people and making sure that everybody benefits from this. One thing that I have learned on this trip is that they actually what's the word now? They see this as a partnership. They don't actually see this as we tell them what to do and they just do. They see us as their business partners, and that was actually took me by surprise. And they look at us like their own business partners. It's not like a supplier client relationship. And one thing that they value the most is the relationship that they want to build for many, many years to come. Because that's one thing that he told me multiple times. And our agent can speak quite good English, but the warehouse guys, they can't speak any English. So they had to communicate with each other, and then the agent will translate for us what they wanted to say. And I saw how much they appreciate the business that we bring to them, but also the fact that they can trust us and they can work with us, and they were really happy to understand that it's not just our business that they're serving. Is like Katai is multiple businesses. It's not just our business that they bring in products into, is our partners' businesses. So yeah, I think that was one thing that they didn't understand in the past. They knew that we are bringing products for different people, but they couldn't understand that we have a very close relationship with our partners. I think in the past they saw it as, when you go to a shop and you buy something from the shop, they thought that's kind of what we are doing. Like, we have like a e-shop and people will come in and then just buy stuff. They didn't understand that we actually have streams, and we have calls, and we have emails on a daily basis or weekly with our partners. So yeah, they were quite happy to know, and also for us to be able to tell them all of this, because you wouldn't have the opportunity on a message to open up such a subject. Like, I don't know how would I even open this conversation with them. I'd be like, yeah, by the way, this product is not actually for me. This product is actually for one of our partners. And they'll be like, but my friend, who are your partners? that kind of thing. So yeah, it was nice to sit down with them and explain all of this.
Well, I think that that's absolutely great, and it's wonderful to hear that there is such, and obviously what we're doing, we're running a business, but even like we tell our partners this, it's more than just that. It's more than just a business. It's about supporting the person behind the business. And I, for one, feel incredibly lucky that, you took the time out of your lives. You quickly, up and left. There was a holiday that happened as well too, where you weren't at home. You were on this trip where, really the betterment of our partners and being that voice for our partners with our, the relationships that we're building in China. And I think I just have one question left that I would love to be able to ask both of you before we wrap this up, because I know you guys are so busy. Is and Mickey, I'll start with you. If there was one thing that you wanted to let our group of partners know um, from this trip, whether it be like what you were really proud of, what you achieved, and what you're looking forward to in the future of what this trip resulted in, what would you want to share our partners that are watching live or on the replay?
Yeah, I think one major thing that I would like to share with everybody is the value that this trip has brought to private label people, and not only to us, to our partner businesses, in terms of we are able to stream the communication, and we are able to get the information out of our agents as fast as possible, but also build I think this is the most important out of everything, that we have built a trust relationship with our partners out there. So one thing that I would like to say is that if you are thinking to choose a product, or you are choosing a product, and you find yourself in a situation that everybody finds themselves in this situation now and then, that you cannot pay for the product, don't go silent on me, because from this trip, we have built the relationship in a way where we can help you, and they can speak to the supplier, and they can delay things. But if you are going silent, then they will go silent on me. So being able to build this, and for them to understand that certain things can happen, like if you have an emergency, a family emergency, they are able to understand. But if you tell me I cannot pay this week, or I cannot pay next week, then I can communicate to them. That's what they want. They want communication from us. And I think it goes both ways. We want communication from you, and they want communication from us, just to help each other out. I see this as a circle, not as a triangle. It goes all around. So we start from you, and it keeps going around and around. So we have to work together. But that's for me. I don't know what's Ali's biggest.
Yeah, I just kind of made some notes. Just you kind of stole mine before mine even came up, because it was the strength in the relationship. We've been working with a lot of our partners in China for over 5 years now, and I see us working for the next 20, 30, however long years, because it's all about people. We talk about it's in our name, private label people. It's all about relationships. And you need good relationships to grow any business, regardless of e-commerce, bricks and mortar, any types of business. In order to really scale it, you need to have great relationships. So that's one thing that everyone can rest assured with. Also, the ability to squeeze more juice out of the lemon, just being at the warehouse and seeing how the guys operate, and just the infrastructure and the ability to do pretty much anything to the products. I feel like, previously, whenever we were talking about and using third-party warehousing in the likes of the West, like the US, Canada, Australia, UK, it never really made sense to try a different bonus out with your current product, or make an awkward pack size just because you'd have to pay for the packaging material, the labor as well. Just kind of being there and just seeing how easy everything is and how more cost effective things are. You could already have 10 SKUs in your portfolio that could easily double with the amount of things you can do to that SKU. And it is a change of process, and it's a change of strategy or a bit of a tweak. So I just want everyone to know that we're working on some education around this, just to make sure that you're getting the most out of All-One and this direct, more efficient way of doing private label.
Wow, what a way. Oh yes, Mickey.
Sorry, there was one more thing that I wanted to say, and I don't know if Ali shared this with you guys before I joined the call. Our warehouse has been very strategically placed. If you are not familiar with where our warehouse is, go find the address, or ask Oscar to provide you with the address, and look at where in China our warehouse is being placed. And I would love to know from our partners if they know why we chose that place. And it's very strategic. And I'll give you something. Is next to, should I, Ali?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, is placed next to the biggest trade center in the world.
What?
Yeah, so I thought that Ali already shared that with you guys.
Oh gosh, we can't keep secrets here. So like Sue says, we should just give up trying. I love that. I didn't even know that. See, I told you guys I'm hearing all this like first time. That's incredible. So how
Yes.
does that benefit us? Just to kind of like walk it through for everybody that's on the stream and watching on the replay.
Okay. That will benefit us on so many levels. Number one, we can customize and we can change our packaging, and we can change our poly bags, and we can print out any sort of labels because they are so familiar with this kind of requests. If our warehouse would have been placed somewhere, I don't know, let's take a bit north towards more rural areas, this wouldn't have been possible because they are not familiar with e-commerce and trade and what's required in terms of the packaging. And if you tell them a poly bag, the thickness of the poly bag and so on. But these guys, they are next to the biggest trade center in the world. And number two, that they can source anything. We've been to this trade center, and we only covered 1% of the whole trade place. Like, I have never seen something like that in my life. We seen a shop that they specialized on rubber bands. Like, I let Ali talk about this because this is like blew my mind. Who would just buy rubber bands? But obviously, there's a demand out there.
Yeah, I was trying to get the picture. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit bright.
Noodles?
No.
Oh no! I was like, is that noodles?
That's some rubber bands. So yeah, I mean, like, and that wasn't just one shop. You had a district of shops, or we couldn't really call it shop because you couldn't really buy anything. It's more you can sample things and you can place orders and meet suppliers and other sourcing agents there as well. But imagine rows and rows of what looks like shops, but each shop having a ton of different thicknesses of rubber bands in sacks just like that.
Wow.
And you think like sure, how can you make money on selling rubber bands? But if you really think about the uses of that, the commercial use, how many other products incorporate rubber bands? It was pretty mind blowing, the scale of this place. And just to kind of jump on what Mickey was saying as well, it's like the strategic part of that. It's like, how many times, for some of the more seasoned pros in the group, how many times have you wanted to have bespoke packaging, for example, from a supplier, or to box a product instead of polybag it, or to order a different size polybag so that it could, take up less space and reduce the FBA fee? How many times does that supplier come back and be like, yeah, we can do that, but your MOQ is 1,000 pieces? They have to, to do those kind of things and have certain barriers there, because sometimes they're not placed, or their facility isn't anywhere near a cardboard box factory. They might have to pay for inland shipping. They might have to source it from somewhere else, or a middleman. So yeah, that's exactly what kind of Mickey was talking about in terms of the strategic place. There's just anything can be done, which gets me really excited, because as a private label seller with a number of SKUs, and with the thought of testing different pack sizes and different offer types with my current portfolio, I think now is easier done than ever.
Wow, blows my mind. And what's exciting is I know that we're going to continue to talk about this for days and weeks and months and years to come. I want to thank you both so incredibly much for, again, from the bottom of my heart, the time that you took out of your personal lives to make this trip, not just, obviously for Private Label People's future, but for the future of all of our partners. And I think that, you said it just very eloquently, like, we foresee ourselves doing business for the next, 20, 25, 30 years. So thank you both so much for taking the time out of your busy days to hop on the stream with me. Thank you to all of our partners that have joined live and watching the replay. I, for one, am going to be going right over to Circle and sharing my gratitude for the both of you for taking this incredible opportunity and making it as big as possible for everybody involved. So thank you both, so much. For those available to watch the live stream tomorrow, I know Ali, you're going to be hopping on with Esso to talk a little bit more about All One, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more conversations and fun stories that are coming up because of this trip on tomorrow's stream. So again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you again, Mickey and Ali. And stay focused, everybody. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.